Hey, what's going on everyone? This is iReviews back with another video, and today I will show you guys 16 iPhone 12 and 12 Pro settings that I believe you should change on your device right now. There are a lot of new settings with the iPhone 12 and 12 Pros, and of course there are also old settings that you should change and configure them the right way on your new device. Alright, starting off with the camera settings. Of course, one of the biggest features of the new iPhones, always the new cameras. So go to settings, go to camera right here, and go to record video. Right here we'll find HDR video. Make sure to go ahead and enable this. Now what this does, this enables the Dolby Vision video recording. If you have seen the iPhone 12 presentation and you have seen the presentation of the Dolby Vision and you don't know how you actually enable this feature, you can do that from here. Basically, it records video up to 60 frames per second in 10-bit high dynamic range, and that of course including the Dolby Vision. And underneath it you will have auto frames per second. Now what it does, your iPhone will reduce the frame rate down to 24 frames per second in order to improve the low light video. When you're on a scenario where there is low light, it just drops down the frames per second, of course, in order to improve the quality of the video on low light. And we also have another one right here, lock camera. Now this is a new setting that allows you to lock the camera so it doesn't switch between different lenses automatically when you're shooting video. So if you don't want that to happen, you go ahead and simply enable the switch right here. Another big feature of the new iPhone 12 and the 12 Pro is of course 5G. Now what I suggest you do is go ahead and go to settings and go under cellular. Under cellular data option you will find here voice and data. Now you will have here the option for 5G if you're on a place where of course you have 5G network. But if you're on a place where the 5G network is not really well covered or you don't really have access to 5G, then go ahead and just choose LTE or 4G, whichever it displays right here, and that way you will disable 5G. So your iPhone will actually go ahead and save a lot of battery by you disabling 5G. If you're on an area where the coverage is really bad, go ahead and just completely turn off 5G. Under the photo settings, you will also find a new option right here. It is called View Full HDR. Now what it does, it will automatically adjust the display to show the complete dynamic range of photos. So you go ahead and enable it right here if you want to get that full experience on your device when just viewing photos on the Photos app. Make sure you go ahead and enable that option. Another setting that you should change on the photo settings is the hidden album option. Now if you go to the Photos app, you will have here an album for the hidden photos, but the album is actually basically the folder is there and anyone can view that folder. If you want to make it a bit harder, what you can do is go ahead and go to settings, head on to the photo settings, and make sure you have disabled the hidden album. Now what this does is that it actually hides the album from the Photos app, but you will still have the album and of course all the photos that you have hidden. It basically just doesn't show right here on the Photos app. Anytime that you need that, you go ahead and again enable it under settings. A cool new feature of iOS 14 is the new app library. It is really practical and I actually use that a lot. It has some new options here under the settings app. So if you go under home screen, you will have here the option to send apps automatically to app library. So anytime you download an app, it won't just show on the home screen, it will just automatically go to the app library so you don't have to remove that manually. That's a very nice feature. Of course, you can configure this any way you like. And lower here, there's another option that you should turn on, show app, basically show badges on the apps on app library. Now if you have this disabled, which is disabled by default, then you won't see any badges on the app library at all. So if you have like any notifications on the apps that you don't have on the home screen but have them on the app library, then you won't notice that at all. So make sure you go ahead and enable notification badges for app library. A setting that I suggest you should turn off or just keep if you have it turned off already is found under accessibility, and it's actually sound recognition. Now if you actually need your iPhone to recognize any of these sounds, you can keep this on, but Otherwise, go ahead and turn that off. It will just consume battery and CPU power. It is always working on the background, of course, listening for the sounds that you have enabled here. So make sure go to accessibility, go to sound recognition, and turn that off right there. A cool new feature of iOS 14 that a lot of people have been asking for and wanting this feature is the new banner that you get for incoming calls. Basically, it shows up here and you can go ahead and of course answer the call or decline it or just remove it. But what you can do here is also go to full screen. Of course, this is on the settings of the phone. If you go to settings, go under the phone, you will see this right here. Now, if you have a bigger device, sometimes it's really hard to reach at the top to answer or decline a call. And of course, if that's not your style, you don't like that, you want the full screen incoming call, then you can go ahead and just choose full screen from here. The next setting I suggest you should change is found under sounds and haptics. It is headphone safety. If you go to headphone safety, you will have here reduce loud sound. Now this is really important. Of course, your ears are very important, so you should turn this on. Right here, we'll see a slider which allows you to set the limit of the sounds on your device. And right here, it shows you like a description on how loud that sound is. You can see right here at 95 decibels, it says as loud as a car horn. So basically you can compare that to real world and just actually know what you're doing here, and when you're setting the limit, know how loud that sound is. Location services are of course very important for your device and your own privacy. If you go to location services with the new iOS 14 settings, you will have here the option to choose how you allow an app to actually like find your location. If you want the app to have your precise location, or if you just want an app to actually have your location but not know precisely where you're at. So when you go to location services and go to one of your apps, you will have here a button to enable or disable precise location. Now what I suggest you do is for apps like Maps, maybe you go ahead and leave this on, so this app will actually know your precise location because it is important. For other apps, go ahead and just turn that off. As you of course know, the iPhone has a magnifier, which can be enabled from the control center, but you can also enable a magnifier app. You go to settings, you go to accessibility, go to magnifier, and enable it from here. Now what this will do is actually show an icon on your device from which you can go ahead and have access to that app. So here we have the magnifier, and now you can also recognize people and of course see how far they are from you with the new devices. A very important setting that I believe everyone should turn off on their device, whether you have a newer device or an older one, is found under accessibility. So you go to accessibility, and from here go ahead and go to Siri. Right here we'll find always listen for Hey Siri. Go ahead and disable that. Now, what this does is that it will basically keep your device always paying attention to that word, and of course whether your iPhone is face down on a table or just in your pocket, it will always be listening for Hey Siri. That of course will consume a ton of battery, so make sure you go ahead and actually turn that off. Another really cool feature of iOS 14 is of course the new picture-in-picture. You go to general, and right here you will find picture-in-picture, and you only have one option here, which I suggest you should turn off. Start picture-in-picture automatically. Now what this will do is anytime you're watching a video and you go out of the app, that will start picture-in-picture automatically, so every time it will display the video on your screen, and that's very annoying sometimes. So you go ahead and just turn that off, and of course you can enable picture-in-picture from the video player anytime that you need it. Of course, with every device, it is very important that you have more free space. Now on our devices, we actually download a lot of apps, and sometimes we might just use an app a couple of times and just leave it there and not delete it. What I suggest you do is go ahead, go to settings, go under App Store, and enable upload unused apps. This will automatically delete these apps that you don't use for a long time, so they don't take a lot of space on your device. Now what it actually does is that it saves the data of those files, so anytime you need that file again, you just go ahead, download it back to your device, and you will have all of your stuff there. So that's it for this video, guys. These are 16 settings that I believe you should change on your iPhone 12 or 12 Pro. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead and leave a like if you did, and I'll see you on the next one.